continuation of Lesson 3, we are here to tackle about Lesson 4, entitled Philippine Watershed, Delineation of Drainage Area, Sand Basin or Physical Properties. By the way, I am Angela Bilumagad. I am the first reporter. Let's first define what is watershed. Watershed is an any surface area from which runoff resulting from rainfall, such as sediment, rain, snow, rain, are being collected and drained through a common point. Basically, it is also called as a drainage basin or attachment area. Watershed has parts. First is the tributary, a smaller river or stream that flows into a main or a parent river. Ridgeline or watershed divided, a higher ground separating two adjacent streams or watersheds. The floodplain is the flat border areas on which each side of a river, which allows water to spill out or overflow at times of high flow. Estuary is a partly enclosed coastal body of water with one or more body of water flowing into it and an open connection to the sea. That's where the tide meets the stream. Headwater or groundwater. It is the water that is located beneath the surface of the earth and pours in the soil. A perfect example of the groundwater is the water that comes from the well. So how watershed works? Watershed works by draining rainfall and snowmelts into streams and rivers. These smaller bodies of water flow into larger ones, including lakes, bays, and oceans. With the help of gravity, which leads the water path takes across the landscape. However, not all rain or snow that falls on a watershed flows out in this way. Watershed classified into two. First is the size. Micro watersheds are the smallest land area wherein the water flow into a tributaries. Tributaries is the small river or stream. The small watersheds are those where the overland flow is the main contributor to peak runoff or flow, and channel characteristics do not affect the overland flow. The large watersheds, while those give peak flows, are greatly influenced by channel characteristics and basin storage. Watershed classified into shape: square, triangular, rectangular, oval, fern leaf, palm, polygon, and circular shape. There are components of watershed: the uplands, wetlands, riparian zone or vegetation, surface water, and groundwater. Uplands area or area of land lying above the level where water flows or where flooding occurs. Wetlands area or area that is either covered by water or saturated water. It includes bogs, fens, marshes, and swamps. Riparian zone or vegetation. It is an area that interface between land and a river or stream. It is where the plants that grow along or near the riverbanks, lakes, and wetlands. The surface water is just the water that collects on the surface of the earth. This category is composed of rivers, lakes, streams, ocean, and wetlands. Groundwater, all water under the surface of the ground. It's stored in the soil, and it can be found far under the ground in deep aquifers or very near the ground's surface. So, according to Water Environment Partnership in Asia, or WEPA, the Philippines has 412 principal river basins and 119 proclaimed watersheds. Of these, 19 are considered major river basins. So here are some example of watershed in the Philippines. Mount Apo in Davao Cotabato, Cagayan de Oro River Basin, which is the largest watershed in the Philippines, La Mesa Watershed, Angat Watershed, and Lake Lanao Watershed.
Good afternoon. I'm John Harold Huerta, and my topic is about the continuation of Philippine watershed, delineation of drainage area, subbasin, or physical properties. Let's start with delineation of drainage area. So, ano sa ng delineation? Delineation is the action of indicating the exact position of a border or boundary to show or contain as distinguishing characteristics. So meaning mura siya imuhagi picture or imuhagi identify ang exact position sa isa ka border or sa kanang watershed. So how to delineate? So natin mga process dire kung unsa ang pag-delineate sa isa ka watershed. So first is locate. So sa locate, imo i-locate ang mga river, lake, ang stream, ang wetland or mga iba pa na water bodies of interest. So second is trace. I-trace nimo ang mga water course gikan sa iyahang source ngadto sa iyang mouth, including na dito ang mga katong tributaries. So third is examine. Examine nimo ang mga brown lines nga naa sa atong topographic map nga kanang duol sa atong water course. So fourth is contour lines. Contour lines ang kaning contour lines dapat dikit-dikit ragid kay ni sila para ato makita ang ilahang pagka iba-iba pagka change niya. So ang ikalima is check. Imo siya i-check nimo ang imuhang ang ilang mga slope sa ka landscape pinaagi sa pag-locate nimo sa ilahang two adjacent contour lines niya. Imo i-determine ang ilahang mga elevations. So 6 is break points. So ang kaning break points imo hara magmark ra kag mga break points nga nagkapalibot sa atong water body nya i-determine nimo ang kanang direction of drainage niya sa ato ang area. So 7th is connect. Ang katong mga break points gipang mark ato siyang i-connect gamit linya following the highest elevation sa atong area. So 8 is boundary. Ang boundary kanang mag-create ka og boundary nga represent sa contributing area for a particular point or outlet. So once ma-outline ang watershed boundaries sa atong map, mag-imagine ta og drop of rain nga natagak sa atong surface sa map nga nagsugod sa bisag asa na points sa atong watershed boundaries para ma-verify nato na ang atong boundaries kay sakto. Mauta na mo ngano man na kinahanglan mag-delineate kay para ato asya ma-characterize og ma-investigate kung unsa may nahitabo sa one portion sa study area versus sa another. So mao na siya. Dere na ta sa properties of watershed. Physiographic characteristics are the description of watershed in terms of size, topography, shape, geological rock and soil, climate, and vegetation. So, i-explain na ko diri tagsa-tagsa ang iyahang mga characteristics sa atong watershed. So, So physiographic characteristics, first is ang size or ang iyang area. Siyempre sa size sa atong watershed, madetermine nato ang quantity sa rainfall na ma-receive, ma-retain ug ma-dispose of or run off. Kung unsa kadako ang watershed, mausad kadako ang iyang channel ug ang storage of water sa basin. So diri sa shape, ang watershed kay magkaiba-iba man jud na og shape based sa morphometric parameters. Pwede siya ma-square, rectangle, triangle, oval, or unsa pa na. So diri sa topography, ang kaning slope, ang length, ang degree ug ang uniformity sa slope kay maka-affect siya sa disposal sa water ug sa soil loss. So ang topography regulates drainage. Ang kaning drainage density, length, width, depth of main and subsidiary channel, main outlet ug ang iyang size nagadepende ra jud siya sa iyahang photography. Diri sa climate, syempre ang rain naga-provide jud og incoming precipitation along sa iyahang various characteristics like intensity, frequency, and amount of rainfall. So parameters na pareha sa rainfall, temperature, humidity, wind velocity ug unsa pa na makaregulate siya sa soil ug vegetation. So diri sa geological rock and soil, geological formation and types of rock is maka-affect sa extent sa ato ang water erosion, erodibility of channels and hell phases, sediment production. So maka-affect na siya sa atong mga gipangingon. So there is a vegetation. Vegetation depende sa type sa vegetation ug sa iyang mga sakop. Ang kana na factor naga-regulate siya sa pag-function sa atong watershed. So napay usa ni which is ang land use. Ang type sa land use iyang mga sakop ug ang management mao jud na ang maka-affect sa behavior sa watershed. Judicious land na gigamit sa mga tao is mao jud pinaka-importante sa management o pag-function sa atong watershed. And that's all for my report. Thank you for listening. God bless.